Right, I thought it was high time, now we've used him for a bit, to do a what it costs to get on the road video for the Aprilia, or Frankie, or Thumper, whatever we decide to call him. Right, I won't tell you the purchase price of the bike just yet, but to give you a slight guideline, there is currently, as of the recording day today, Sunday, one Aprilia Cube 650 for sale on eBay. It is a project bike. I'd say similar condition, but it has issues. It needs fork seals, brake rebuild and all that lot. So really, the seller argues it's a rolling project because they rolled it into their motorcycle shop as a Part X, and it's something they won't sell on the shop floor, so it's up on eBay, and the bids for that are currently, I think, 590. So there's a little guide. Anyway, I will now pick you up and we'll go through the itemage that we've got on it. Yeah, so shaky video start. Hello. Right, here's the list. And there's probably a couple of little things on there which I may have bought direct from Aprilia or something like that, which I haven't found. Although I'm not sure, I think I've got everything. Anyway, as I've just mentioned, hopefully in the introduction, there is only one of these for sale on eBay. All the rest are different models. There is one which was based on the Cube, but it was called the Trail, and it featured all cut down bodywork, no side panels, a little duckbill mudguard at the back and stuff, and that's about the closest one you'll get to a Cube mechanically. But there is only one Cube, and like I say, that's a project that's being sold by a bike shop. So here we go. Sintered brake pads, £30, 54 years. Bearings, that's front and rear wheel bearings plus sprocket carrier bearing, £27.52. Some of these include the postage and some don't, where I've had free postage. The rear brake light switch, which is a pressure switch because the old one wasn't working, 1865. Starter relay, 27.80, because the old one used to smoke when you were starting the bike. A plume of smoke used to come up from the tank. Wasn't very good. It was probably corroded inside or something, and it was building resistance up. Mirrors, yeah, because it didn't have any at all, and I hate riding without mirrors. 33.87. Service kit, that was basically the oil, a spark plug spanner, and I think that was it. That was £65.12. I put nice oil in it. The pulley for the flywheel, I'm going to include the tools I had to buy as well, obviously, £39.89. The battery plus oil filter and air filter, £90.91. I tend to put new batteries in things as a matter of course anyway. The Zed's had one, Phyllis has had one. You know, fork seals, £20.95, and not a bad job to do either, as you've probably watched. Caliper seals, yeah, £24.50. Because you can remember I did a video on that, and it looked at first glance like both the calipers had actually been rebuilt. They hadn't. But the front one was particularly poor because the fork seals were leaking. Fork oil had got onto the rubbers and swelled them. So yeah, the caliper wasn't brilliant. Carb kit, as you know, I had the issue with fuel pissing out the carburetors, and it would not stop. You know, usually it's a sticky needle, but it wouldn't stop. And then I found a large chunk of debris holding the needle open. but it's got all new needles and stuff now, and it's been behaving. So that carb kit was £24.99. Chain guard, the top half of the chain guard, I've yet to source the bottom, what they call a shark fin. That's £23.10. Foot pegs, either side, because breakers are shrewd and they will sell stuff like that separately instead of a pair, which, you know, fair enough. Each one was £44.95. Rear master cylinder, I ended up buying another Aprilia rear master cylinder, and that was 25 quid. Brake hose, put a braided brake hose on the back, because we thought initially, or I thought initially, sorry, although I do confer with people, that the brake hose had collapsed and that's why the rear caliper was sticking. Not for once suspecting it was actually the master cylinder that was buggered. But it's got a braided hose on the back now. That was £24.95. The belly pan, £31.19. The other brake hose I bought, which I can actually use for the front, which I haven't fitted yet, £24.90. Right, I've got a spare set of rear chain adjusters, because these were known for the adjusters to back off and then spin on the end of the swing arm, and when they do that sprocket side, they shatter into the sprocket. It's well known for it, and that's precisely what had happened to the old ones on this, and they were £19.99. Grips, I managed to get a pair of original Aprilia Tomaselli grips, £15.05. Tyres, yeah, I sort of, do you put in consumables? Well, yes, because at the end of the day you're bringing a bike back that's been stood 10 years that we know of. So the tyres are £188.99. So, you know, you've got to include it. Regulator rectifier, again, when the charging system and stuff wasn't working, we thought, well, we won't risk it, and I got a regulator rectifier. The old one does actually work. It turned out to be a lot of corroded earths on the loom, or tarnished. All those cleaned up, and hey presto, it charges. It's been alright ever since. Main stand, always handy for maintenance and stuff like that. I find them essential. £53.40, and that was from a BMW F650. Again, you could argue, well, is that part of putting it on the road? Well, yeah, because it's part of the price of how you want it to be, so I'm including that. Right, panels, the two side panels, the two terribly vinyl wrapped silver side panels. God, they're awful, truly awful. 20 quid. Yeah, but they look 20 quid. I shall peel the vinyl off at some point, and we'll see what condition the paint's like underneath. Right, the clutch, the actual sprag clutch and flywheel, which was the bike's main issue, which is more than likely why it was parked up in the first place. The bike was actually recovered salvage. There's no damage marker against it on the insurance or anything like that, but it does say on the logbook it was recovered salvage, basically. The clutch was £79.98. Now, I know for a fact that if I was to buy that clutch and flywheel off Aprilia, you are talking 500 quid before a mechanic's got hold of it at £50 an hour. So that alone would have financially parked the bike up. If it was involved in an insurance claim or anything, that would have killed it. The loom, I had to buy the headlight loom. For some odd reason, it didn't have one at all. £12.61. I thought that was pretty good. The turn signals, this is a biggie. These didn't have any turn signals at all, but these two front ones are only available from Aprilia, and they are special order. You will find the odd one, but you will never find a pair. So they were ordered from Aprilia, along with the rear ones, the correct rear ones, and they were £84.38. And last but not least, a spanner. I had to buy an 11mm spanner because I do not possess one. I've got 11mm sockets, but I do not possess an 11mm spanner, and some of the bolts on this are 11mm, which is really odd, but that's Italians for you. So the grand total to get it on the road, it could have been done cheaper because we could have left out, with hindsight, the regulator, the stand. It probably didn't need a belly pan, you know, stuff like that. But total as stands is £1,152 pounds. And the original purchase price of the bike, which we actually got some knocked off, was 550. So, you know, if I wanted to replace that, if you can find one, I think it's on the money. There is the model before this for sale on eBay. The model before this had square indicators, a square headlight and stuff like that. Few differences mechanically, but basically the same bike. Different bodywork, basically the same bike. Didn't have, I don't think they had upside down forks. But you're looking at a good £2.5 grand for one of them if you can find one again. They were never a popular bike in the UK. They had their following, but they were never popular. They were very popular in Europe. There's loads of spares in Italy, Germany, places like that. So yeah, so that's it. So I still think I got a bargain, and it is one of the most comfortable bikes I've ever had. It sits at 60-70 miles an hour, dead easy, and supposedly does quite a bit to the gallon. I've heard figures of 80 miles to the gallon. Biggles is out. That sounded like a Spitfire actually. I don't know whether it would do that. Some people have actually been reporting figures as low as 35 miles per gallon, which they must either be utterly raping it or it's not set up right. It is super efficient engine. It's a 5-valve head, and it's more horsepower than the BMW version because BMW went back to 4-valve. So yeah, I don't quite know what it's done yet. I've done about 100 miles on it on the tank so far, and it's about half full. So I'm guessing they do say 200 mile, 200 to 230, but we'll see. So that's it for this one. So what was your closest guess? If you follow the Facebook page, if you got close, you win a sticker. Nice. Right. I'm going because my bottom's off. Yeah, thought you'd like to